today at around 4, 6, we had a heavy downpour. Yes.
So you were able to get the planting done before the heavy downpour came?
Yes.
I see. Well, we do give thanks for that excellent news. So we are working to get our details together. And as soon as we do, we're going to advance from the avocados to the apples. That's going to be the plan. So after we get the apples planted, we're going to work on the first outdoor greenhouse. So once we have the first outdoor, actually, I take that back. That's incorrect. We were discussing the outdoor greenhouse and the irrigation because you spoke about the fencing. We spoke, the Imperial Council, we spoke about the fencing.
Yes.
And then we spoke about if we keep the herbivores out, do we keep the insects out too? What's the better play for us? Because we want to start off small anyway, because we're still learning what can be adaptable there. And we're still learning the terrain there. And you are 6,558 feet above sea level. So we know that we have some things to work out. So we said, we won't do the fencing now, not only because it's a little more expensive process. We figured we would do the outdoor greenhouse. We have so many indoor greenhouses, I keep forgetting we also have we have 2 outdoor greenhouses now. Grand-Sultan District is supposed to get one first. So we're going to work on that because we delayed doing that to get the avocados in the soil. Now that we have, we're going to proceed to the strawberries. We'll work on the outdoor greenhouse for the Grand-Sultan District, and we're going to work on the outdoor greenhouse for the Kenyatta-District. Now, it's going to be the water irrigation that we spoke about previously. So we are working now to make that particular decision. Do we do the irrigation first, or do we do the outdoor greenhouse first? My argument is, since we've already said we're not doing the fence, that we do the outdoor greenhouse first, because the irrigation would be necessary for the outdoor regular in the field planting. We're not doing that, at least not right away. So tomorrow night, when I convene the Imperial Council, this is going to be settled. I'll make my arguments, I'll deal with the counter arguments, and then the decision's going to be made. Now, the way we're doing it, I took that particular approach with them on purpose. We have a fiscal budget in place already. So how the fiscal budget gets implemented is technically my business as a constitutional monarch. However, I do particular things with the Imperial Council in other ways, on other things. And there's a reason why I've taken this strategic approach with the Imperial Council regarding whether we're doing the planting first outdoors or indoors, whether we get the planting first or do we get the outdoor greenhouse first. If we're doing the planting, we have to have the irrigation. If we're doing the outdoor greenhouse, then we don't have to have the irrigation first. Let me explain to you why we have to do things in the manner, in my view, that we're doing them. We have limited funds to work with, to be honest. So I have to spend funds in a rotary fashion, as I've explained before. I spend funds on this continent. I got to spend funds in the Albion district. I got to spend funds all across the Alkebu-lan where you're located. I have to spend funds in South Amexem. I have to spend funds in Cebu-Cavite district. We haven't spent funds in either yet. We have equipment, materials, and supplies that have to be acquired. And what we're doing in the Cebu-Cavite district is actually fishing. And part of why we've taken the approach that we've taken is we do well with anything that we're growing short term. That will help us towards funding the fishing vessels in the Cebu-Cavite district. There's a twist now because of the dhows. Since we know that dhow construction is on the table for the Kenyatta district, because when we were talking about doing the fishing for Cebu-Cavite district, we were not operational yet in your district. We are now. And as you know, we are big on the use of the dhow initially for fishing. So we know that we're eventually going to end up doing not just the food growth where you are, we're going to end up doing the food growth on a larger scale in south of the continent there, in the Zania-Matabele, where we actually have grown previously. We know that we're going to start growing large amounts of millet on the west coast of the Alkebu-lan and Zanaga district. We're going to get the okra up and going on a larger scale in the Ghana-Songhai district. It takes funds for us to do all that while we are funding equipment, materials, and supplies over here simultaneously. And again, we have limited funds to work with. However, we know once we get our first fishing hole in the water, our first vessel in the water in Cebu-Cavite district, we think that we can do very well there, feed our fellow Amexem-Empire nationals there, and get funds into the Imperial Treasury to fund our work there, where you are, and over here. We also know we get that DAO in place where you're located. It'll start out as a fishing operation, to be technically accurate here. We don't intend to do anything more than fishing with the first DAO. The reason being, we have to work with our fellow Amexem-Moor-Empire nationals where you are to get them acclimated to handling the DAO in the local waters. The fishing will be in the local waters. So as everyone becomes their acuity, their abilities with the sailing of the DAO becoming more effective and efficient, their confidence will grow. As their confidence in being able to sail the DAO grows, well, I find now we can sail out to Manu Bombay and the Cush-Harappa. We can sail to Dubai, and we can carry in the hold. We can carry the avocados when we have some. If someone says, we'd like to have 5,000 of your avocados, we can send them 5,000 of our avocados aboard our DAO. So it's not just making a decision about, do we do the fencing, do we do the irrigation and just plant things outside, or do we do the outdoor greenhouse? Because we have limited funds and we have to spend them in a rotary fashion. And the outdoor, going the route of the outdoor greenhouse in the Kenyatta-District means there's going to be several of them. The first one where you're located, the Ghana-Songhai district gets one. We're doing one over here also. If there's a fourth, Zanaga district will get the fourth one. We don't need one in near Zania-Matabele. They grow food down there without worrying about the insects. They have, I explained to you before, they have an ingenious way how they were growing the food. They planted something next to the crop, that whatever it was that they planted, the bugs that like, the insects that like to eat the cabbage that we were growing did not like that plant. They stayed away from our cabbage. So as we are gaining experience growing in the Cebu-Cavite district in the future, as we gain experience of growing there in the Kenyatta district, the Ghana-Songhai district, Zanaga district, Azania-Matabele district, the Chipchas district down in South Amexem, Guansili district in South Amexem, we're already growing food in the Albion district. And although it's about to be surpassed, we actually grow more food per capita in the Albion district than we do anywhere else empire-wide. The very first outdoor greenhouse is actually there. And we have one of our indoor greenhouses in it. And we grow grapes there. All types of fruits and vegetables, especially grapes, are grown in that that outdoor greenhouse with our indoor 4-tier system in it. So we have particular experiences, and we are growing very well, and we're gaining lots of experience. But we're also cleaving together. We're growing closer as a Amexem-Empire national, because the experiences together, it promotes the camaraderie. And I wish we could have had these a little bit later. I know it's early for you, the 8-hour time difference. The regional governor, who you actually saw once or twice, I know it's at least once, he couldn't stay. So we were hoping that, because he had an idea he wanted to share with you, something about a clover, some type of a clover that grows. Certain insects don't like it. I really can't explain it. I wanted him to be here to explain because it was new to me. So I'm out of my depth. I don't want to go into things I can't really speak on clearly, especially he didn't give me the name of that particular plant. So he mentioned clove leaf, like clover or whatever. So I suppose it has to be in that particular family. Which one? Don't know. All I know is he was sought to share that. I said it's better that you either write it in here or speak directly to the region of the district when he calls in. I'd rather you talk to the district directly, but I told him. So we'll find out the information because we convene for business training on the coming Love Day and the other chamber. So that would be 7 in the evening your time. So that would be the next business training. The last time you may recall, we covered non-disclosure agreements and non-competes or non-competitive agreements. I don't know what we're covering just yet, I haven't fully decided. However, we will have, as you know, it's 50 minutes of training material and a 10-minute Q&A session showing you how to establish and operate a business within the Amexem-Moor-Empire. So that's basically the highlight of what we'll probably be doing. We will cover 2 items, maybe 3, in the training, and then we'll have the Q&A session. So it's twice a month, and it moves things along. Now, I asked you this question a while back, preliminarily speaking, or I thought I did. It may have been sent in the report, and I may have read it in the report. I don't remember now, there's so much been going on. However, I think I asked, can we grow strawberries where you're located, or was the environment not conducive to it?
Yes. What is the strawberry? Is the challenge is the market, because it's a very perishable fruits, but we do here, though it's very cold.
All right, so if we grow them and harvest them, can we freeze them? Is that an option?
It is. That can be fine.
All right. The reason why I'm asking, I'm going to say it again. I don't care who's buying the agriculture product. First come, first serve. However, if we can find clients where they don't have soil to grow in and don't have enough water to grow, period, because they're basically a nation full of sand and have to deal with salt water that has to be desalinated, which means it needs as much water to drink as possible, not necessarily to grow strawberries with. That would be a market that would acquire said strawberries before we even have Maad soil. They are a delicacy for some who can actually get them. So I am not hostile to anyone local buying the strawberries. I'm just saying first come, first serve. However, if we can find them in other areas and they can take it on, we can harvest them, freeze them, and when they're ready, we will deliver to them in the frozen condition, and they can ship it back where they want. Or if we have our dowels in the water and we have, say, a generator and refrigerator aboard, well, then we can send them our frozen, we can sail over with our frozen strawberries, and they can take it from there. So just some things to consider. Now, that is effective